Colonel Russell Williams is one of the last people you would expect to be a serial killer. Highly respected, decorated, trusted with national security. But behind that image was someone cold, calculated, and methodical, a man who believed control mattered more than anything else. When women began to be attacked and killed in eastern Ontario between 2009 and 2010, investigators initially saw no connection to him. But as the pattern became clearer and the evidence narrowed, the focus slowly shifted, until Russell Williams was no longer just a senior military officer, but a suspect. Welcome to InsightWave, the channel that delves into both solved and unsolved cases from around the world. If you haven't already, please take a moment to like and subscribe to stay up to date with the latest crime stories delivered straight to your inbox. By early 2010, investigators in eastern Ontario were dealing with a disturbing pattern. A series of break-ins, sexual assaults, and eventually murder. What initially appeared unconnected began to align, geography, timing, and forensic evidence slowly narrowing the field. When those leads began pointing toward Russell Williams, a senior officer in the Canadian Forces, investigators knew they had to proceed carefully. What followed was a methodical interrogation, built on patience, evidence, and pressure rather than confrontation. The footage you're about to see has been edited down for clarity and length, while preserving the key moments that ultimately led to the truth. Viewer discretion is advised. Some parts of this interrogation may be difficult to watch.
That's it. I'm just going to move your gloves here. That's a little microphone, just to make sure there's nice and clear. As you can see here, everything in this room is videotaped and audio taped.
Check.
Exactly what's going on here, okay? Jessica Lloyd is one of 4 cases that we're currently investigating, okay? Right. And essentially what's happened is over the past about 4 or 5 months, there have been 4 occurrences, that, like I said, that we're looking into. 2 of those occurrences occurred in September of 2009, and very briefly, they were up in the Tweed area. They involved somebody entering 2 different women's houses in the evening hours and committing sexual acts. Okay. In November of 2009, a young lady by the name of Marie-France Como was found murdered in her home in Brighton. And we believe that there was a sexual component to that crime as well. And then most recently we have Jessica Lloyd's disappearance. Okay, so essentially when you're looking at those kind of crimes, we're looking at a number of different potential criminal charges. All right, we're looking at issues all the way from the most serious one, which is first-degree murder, kidnapping, sexual assault, break and enter with intent to commit sexual assault, forcible confinement. Okay. And so what I want to make sure you understand, and this is what we've been doing with everybody we've been talking to, is that clearly when we find out who's responsible for one or all of those crimes, they could be charged with one or all of those offenses, okay, whether it's you or whether it's anybody else, right? And you know, you've kind of almost hit the nail on the head about some of our issues that kind of make us want to talk to Russell Williams. So what was your schedule that day?
Really?
Okay.
What would have been my schedule? Just a standard schedule in the office.
Okay.
So, ops brief in the morning, a couple of meetings. I can't remember what the specifics were going to be.
Okay, so Thursday night you slept at Tweed, or you?
Yep.
All right. And what did you do Thursday during the day?
Thursday during the day I was at the base again. I think it was a fairly standard day. I can't recall exactly, but yeah, nothing. I was not flying, so I was at the base. So I would have gone in early in the morning, back in the evening again. Okay.
Do you remember what time you left the base that night?
I don't remember anything peculiar, so I would say, I don't know, probably 7 to 9, somewhere in that range.
Okay. And that's when you left?
Left the base, yeah.
And what
That's a 45-minute transit. So
45 minutes home?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we were to you know, do a similar investigation in your background, is there anything you can think of that anybody may have misinterpreted, or anything in your history that somebody might say Russell Williams
Absolutely
did this?
No.
Okay.
Be very boring.
What's that?
It'll be very boring.
All right, because essentially that's what I'm looking at. Is it? You seem like a very intelligent person, and I think you can see how a surprise like that would certainly set off some alarm bells in our investigation, right? Okay. So the next thing we need to cover off is, well, I'll just ask you this straight out. Given the types of crimes we're investigating, do you get much chance to watch television shows, CSI, things like that?
I do watch, I prefer Law and Order, but I do watch CSI occasionally, yes.
Okay. I think that's what we're gonna ask you to do.
Okay.
All right.
Significant
Now we have,
investigation,
as
as you can well imagine. That DNA is going to be significant in our investigation, both quite possibly to help you, quite possibly to help us.
Understood.
I don't know yet. I don't know what the result is yet. And I'll go back to the example I gave you because it's a very similar issue, I think. And you talked about the idea of discretion here. Okay. You talked about the idea that I think hopefully you appreciate the fact of how we approached you here.
Yeah, absolutely.
And essentially, we have no issues with that. Okay. We talked recently about the whole idea of any unusual sex acts in your history. But another thing that can often happen in cases like this is that people become concerned about things like extramarital affairs, indiscretions along those lines. Can you think of any reason why we would find your DNA in any of those residences? Let's focus on, well, for instance, I believe, let me just check the name there, make sure I've got the right address. Talking about the house that was just a couple of doors down from you there. My understanding is she lived at 76 Cozy Cove. Yeah, so she would be the second one. The second incident on your road there,
Yeah.
a couple of doors down. Ever been in her house?
No.
DNA has become more and more precise to the point where when you and I walked in this room earlier today, we could have sat down, talked for 30 seconds, walked out. CSI officer could have come in 3-4 days from now, did some swabs here, and he would have found your DNA and my DNA. Did you know? Okay. And the reason I'm asking that is because I know you were asked that question on Thursday night. And sometimes what we find, and again, this is one of those situations that can sometimes cause us to get into a lengthy investigation as somebody that maybe doesn't deserve it. But what can happen sometimes is somebody gets stopped by the police like you did, and they get asked that question, and people, when they're stopped by the police, they can be nervous, okay? So they blurt out an answer, and then they start driving away, and they go, oh, why did I do that? Because the problem is that once they get asked again, then they feel compelled to maintain that answer for fear that if they change their answer, somebody could find it. You understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay. So I want to make sure that's not happening here. I don't care what you said to the officers on Thursday night last week. If there's any communication or contact between you and Jessica Lloyd, you've seen her picture, right, around town?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Ever seen her before?
I don't. No, I would say I have not.
Okay. You were talking about the whole idea of the MPs helping us with our investigation, stuff like this. You have the same system as we do at our headquarters with the swipe cards. Make sure I get this right, is that on the 23rd, your swipe card was being used at the base, okay?
Okay.
On Tuesday 24th, there was no use of your swipe card.
Okay.
And then on the following days, the Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there was what appeared to be average activity of your swipe card in the base. Does that make sense to you?
It does. That says that I was in Ottawa on the Tuesday.
Okay. Now, if that is the day you had a meeting in Ottawa, do you remember being at the base on the Monday, the 23rd, and swiping your card in and out? Do you remember what you would have done that evening to get to Ottawa for that meeting? Like, would it be...
I drove to Ottawa in the morning of the day of my meeting, so if it was the Tuesday, then I would have left Tweed. It was a very foggy morning.
We can put somebody paying for a meal at a location.
Well, I was meeting with 15 people or so that day. So
okay. Would it surprise you to know that when the CSI officers were looking around her property, that they identified a set of tire tracks to the north of her property? Looks as if the vehicle left the road
Mm.
and drove along the north tree line of Jessica Lloyd's property. Okay.
Okay.
They took, they examined those tire tracks.
Mm.
And they have contacts in the tire business. Obviously, tire tracks are a major source of evidence for us.
Sure.
Shortly after this investigation started, they identified those tires as the same tires on your Pathfinder.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. One of the other things that they do to try and identify the type of vehicle that may have left those tires, well, is they do two things. They talk to witnesses. Okay. There was a female police officer that actually drove by that location that evening and recalls seeing an SUV type vehicle in the field to the north of Jessica Lloyd's house, consistent with a Pathfinder.
Okay.
Could maybe consistent with other things, but consistent with a Pathfinder. And they, what they also do to try and identify the type of the vehicle is they look at what they call the wheelbase width, okay? Because different vehicles, different makes, models have wheelbase width. So they can take those two sets of tire tracks, measure the distance between them, okay, and determine what the width is.
Sure.
And then they can enter that into a vehicle database, and it will spit out the types of vehicles, okay? Okay. Is there anything you can think of? Let's go talk about Marie-France Como for a minute, okay? Is there any reason at all you can think of that during our investigation, obviously we're searching computers, things like Blackberries, right? Electronic devices, looking through houses for things that are in handwriting, written notes, diaries, things like that. Now, I'm not at liberty to tell you what the content was, but is there any reason at all you can think of why Marie-France Como would have specifically referenced you in some of her writings?
Not at all.
No?
No, absolutely not.
Okay. Is there anything that she ever said to you that led you to believe that there might be something more than a passing interest with her towards you?
Not at all. No, we spent, one flight together talking. I'd go back occasionally and talk. No, if that's the case, that's very surprising.
Okay. And I want you to see what I mean. All right. This is the footwear impression of the person who approached the rear of Jessica Lloyd's house on the evening of the 28th and 29th of January.
Yeah.
Okay? All right? Now, I want you to keep in mind that this is slightly smaller, okay, in scale. Okay?
Okay.
All right? That's not to scale. The footwear is actually bigger.
Okay.
If you look here on the ruler, you'll see that 1 inch is just slightly smaller than an actual inch. Okay? But this is the way it prints off on the computer.
Yeah.
I'm going to move this over so you can see what I mean, all right? Because essentially when you're dealing with footwear impressions, we have a gentleman on the OPP who's basically world-renowned. His name is John Norman. And essentially with footwear impressions, you're in a situation where you're pretty much in the area of fingerprints, okay? And essentially what we're talking about here is, especially when you start adding in other pieces of information that support an investigative position, okay? This is a photocopy of the boot that you took off your foot just a little while ago, okay? Now, I'm not an expert in footwear impressions, so I rely on the experts. Footwear impressions are very much like fingerprint comparisons, okay? You take a look at this print, and again, this is one print. This person walked through, there's several different prints to compare, so we're going to get features off of one print to compare, features off another print to compare. These are identical. Okay? Okay, really, really fast. That piece of evidence that solidifies it, DNA, okay? As soon as the expert in footwear impressions, the expert in tire impressions, calls and says, yes, I've examined those and they're a match, it's all over. Because as soon as that happens, where's your credibility? Where's your believability? You're just, Russell, You know there's only one option. What other option is there?
What's the option?
Well, I don't think you want the cold-blooded psychopath option. I might be wrong. Okay, because don't get me wrong, I've met guys who actually kind of enjoyed the notoriety, got off on it, got off on having that label. Bernardo being one of them. I don't see that in you. If I saw that in you, I wouldn't be back in here talking to you, quite frankly. This is over. And it can have a bad ending where Jessica's parents continue to wonder where her daughter's lying. And I don't know. I mean, obviously, there's a huge search still underway, and it'll continue. It'll continue until her body's found. That might even happen tonight, for all I know. Once that happens, then I don't know what other cards you would have to play.
Call me Russ, please.
Okay. What are we gonna do, Russ? Is Jessica somewhere we can find her easily? Like, is this something where I can make a call and tell somebody to go to a location and they're going to find her, or is this something where we have to go and take a walk? Which direction are we heading in here? Russ, maybe this would help. Can you tell me what the issue is you're struggling with? What's the issue you're struggling with?
It's hard to believe this is happening.
Why is that? Why is it hard to believe? Did we talk?
I want to minimize the impact on my wife.
So do I.
So how do we do that?
Well, we start by telling the truth.
Okay.
Okay. So where is she?
You got a map?
Is she close to where she lives? I've got maps of that general area. Which town is she near? Why don't we start there?
I'm not sure, but if you give me a map of that covers Calabar down to the highway and over to Tweed and south, I'll show you.
Let me see what I got here. I might have something. Is she inside, outside? It's probably the biggest area I have there, Russ.
Yeah, you need more. You need a real map.
So where am I going on here to get to her?
In this block here.
Okay. So you're pointing to...
a detailed map of that area, and I'll show you where she is.
Okay. Is she close to a road?
Yep.
All right. Is it something where is she buried, or is she somewhere where if you walk there you would fairly easily see her?
It's here.
Okay. So she's south of 7, east of Tweed,
Mhm.
west of 41.
Mm-hmm.
And what's this road here?
Not sure.
Neither am I. Okay. I'll be right back, okay? Do you want any water or anything?
Sure.
Okay, I'll be right back. How long has she been there for?
A little over a week.
Was it fairly quick from the time she left?
Friday night.
Friday night?
Yep.
So where was she between Thursday night and Friday night?
In Tweed.
With you?
Yep.
How long was she alive for?
Almost 24 hours, not quite.
Okay.
And
Okay.
with her family as well.
Wow. We share that
But
interest.
there's no, your time in Ottawa is wasted, really. I'll tell you where the membership cards are.
Where are they?
They're in the house there, but
In Ottawa?
yeah.
Whereabouts?
Some in the camera bag, which they would have found in my office.
Mm-hmm.
And when you walk into the office on the left side, there's a desk of drawers, set
Okay.
of drawers, like a filing cabinet, wooden, IKEA. In one of the top 2 drawers, and there's a plastic divider,
Yeah.
and there's inside there are 2 memory cards,
Okay.
which are blank, but I'm sure they can be
And whose images are on those cards?
well, I've erased them, but I expect you'll be able to draw images of Jessica and I.
What about Marie?
There may be images on there as well.
And the 2 women from September?
Yep.
Okay. Do you have those images stored anywhere else?
Yeah, there are 2 hard drives in the house in Ottawa. I can draw you a little picture if you like.
Sure. Do you want to do that now while I'm
Sure.
getting them out? Okay. There's somebody running around looking for an actual map, but I did the same thing with the Google Maps. We just have to glue them up a little bit more. This is the biggest of the area. Well, this might have better parameters for you. Here's Tweed.
From this intersection on the side of the road.
And what road is that? Kerry? South of, can't read that word. East Hungerford? Does that make sense? Oh, there it is there. Okay. How far off the road is she?
40 feet.
Is she covered with anything?
She's wrapped up.
In
She's
what?
on the surface. Just a gray something or other cover.
Okay. Barry, the obvious question I'm going to have for you is, when they go there, and they'll be there shortly, they're going to find her?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Why don't we start with Jessica?
Okay.
How does that start for you?
I saw her in her house on her treadmill. Wednesday night, I guess. Then I noticed she wasn't there Thursday. So I got into the house to look around. Then, and then left. Noticed she'd come home. So I went back in. Through the back patio door while she was sleeping.
Okay.
So I woke her up. Didn't hit her. She only hit her once. Friday night.
Okay.
And then I took her to the car and took her to Tweed. Nothing particular.
Well, what did the hit on the back of the head do?
Well, I was surprised that her skull gave way. She was there and immediately unconscious. And I strangled her.
Okay. What did you hit her with?
Flashlight.
Where in the house did this happen?
In the main portion, just in front of the fireplace. But obviously generated a lot of blood.
What did she bleed onto?
The floor. It's just tile floor.
Okay. Did you clean it up, or did you?
I wiped it up. I know it'll be easily spotted.
What makes you think that? Like, if I walked in that house right now, would I see
You
it?
wouldn't see it, not at all, but, you know, the right sides will show it, I'm sure.
Okay. So when that happened, did she have clothes on, or was she naked?
Yeah,
or?
she was dressed.
Okay. So when we find her, is she going to have those clothes on too?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Marie France Como.
There was an open window in the basement of her house when she was away. I went in there a couple of nights before she came home. Looked around. I went back in there late at night when she was at home. She was on the phone in her bedroom. She actually discovered me in the basement. She was trying to get her cat to come upstairs, and the cat was in the basement, had seen me and was fixated on me in the corner. She couldn't get the cat up, so she came downstairs trying to get the cat, and I'm not sure why she came over to me. I guess the cat was staring at me, and she was wondering what the cat was staring at. So when she spotted me, I had the same flashlight. I subdued her. Tied her up, brought her upstairs. And strangled her later in the morning. Well, more suffocated. Left her there.
How did you subdue her? And when you say subdued her in the basement, what did you do?
Well, I had the same flashlight, and she saw me right away. So it was just hit her a couple of times and around her head, try and knock her out. Didn't, but she was bleeding a little bit. Eventually, after a struggle, subdued her.
Okay. Any blood from that struggle?
Oh yeah. No, not a whole bunch, but a flashlight did break her skin a couple of times.
Okay. What area of the basement did that take place in?
I was hiding behind the furnace, so she spotted me right there.
Okay. Did she recognize you?
No, I had stuff on my face.
Okay. So you go upstairs, and you said she suffocated?
Well, I suffocated her. I put tape on her. I put tape on her mouth, and then I put tape on her nose and held it there so she couldn't breathe.
Okay. What kind of tape was it?
Duct tape.
What happened to it?
Well, I took it with me and can't remember what actually I did with that tape, but probably threw it in the garbage.
Did you use tape for any other purposes?
No.
Okay. Did she ever recognize you through this whole episode?
No.
What did you say you had on your face?
I had just a cover for my head, just a, a sports, pullover type, like just a little cap kind of thing.
Okay.
Just a, I think, lycra or something. And just a headband over my nose and mouth. So it covered most everything but my eyes.
Okay. Now this flashlight, where is that now?
And tweed.
In the house?
Yep.
Did you take anything out of Marie France's house or Jessica Lloyd's house?
Yeah, some of their underwear.
Okay.
That's all.
And where is that?
It's in some boxes in the basement here in Ottawa, in that rec room. So we just moved in, so there are boxes everywhere. So on the same side as the furnace room, sort of in the back against the wall.
Okay. Okay. How much underwear is in those boxes?
Probably 60 pieces or so total.
All women's?
Yeah, 60 pieces of theirs.
Of whose?
Of Jessica's and Marie France.
Why don't we talk about those two women?
Mm-hmm.
So the first one happened on the 16th, and I don't know why I can't recall their names, but the lady that was lived closer to you.
No, Laurie was closer to me.
Okay.
So the first one,
Mm-hmm.
I had just spotted her from our boat, actually. And I got into the house while she was asleep. Noticed that she was alone. And just hit her with my hand while she was sleeping. Subdued her. Mostly just my weight on top of her. Had her take off her pajamas. Took some pictures. Took some of her underwear and left.
And the other woman?
Same kind of deal. Got in through the back of the house. She was sleeping in her, not in her bedroom, but in her, in front of the TV. Very much the same story.
Anything different about that story? I mean, pretty much the same story and exactly the same story are two different things, right?
Yeah, no, not much different at all.
Why do you think these things happen?
But I don't know the answers. And I'm pretty sure the answers don't matter.
Well, let me ask you this: did you like or dislike these women?
I didn't know any of them.
Okay.
I had met Marie France that one time.
Can you tell me why you killed her? Right? Do you know why you killed her?
Well, I think I killed her because I knew that her story would be recognized.
Her story would be recognized? How do you mean?
Well, because she knew I was taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
So because of the two stories in Tweed, that would have been a fairly, been quite obvious. To rape her, and I had her put on some of her underwear. Took some pictures, lots of pictures. And then got her dressed, walked back to the truck.
Okay. At what point did you decide that she was going to leave with you?
I'm not sure. That wasn't necessarily always the plan.
Do you remember the conversation about leaving? Was there any... Did she say anything about that, or what was she saying to you?
She was certainly cooperative.
Cooperative can mean a number of different things. Was she excited about leaving with you? I mean, I don't want to be sarcastic, but...
No, she just didn't put up too much of a fuss.
Okay. Did she try and negotiate with you at all, or...
No.
What did she say?
Well, I told her that I would let her go later on.
Okay. So when you take her out of your house, is she still bound, or
Yep.
how is that done?
Just hands behind her back.
Okay. What about her feet? Anything there?
No, she was walking freely.
Okay.
She had a seizure, actually. Lasted quite a while. Got her dressed.
So, how do you know she had them before?
She told me.
Did she tell you why she gets them?
Well, she suggested it was stress. Yeah, so she felt herself start to tense up and said she thought she was going to have a seizure. Wait for an hour or so. And I had told her earlier that before I let her go, I wanted to take some pictures of her in her underwear. And have sex with her. So after she'd had a rest for an hour or so, I had her put on a number of different outfits she had.
I'm sorry?
Put on a number of, pairs, panties, bra that she had that I'd taken from the house. So she put those on and I took pictures.
Okay. Are you in any of these pictures?
Yep.
What kind of images are you in?
Well, I'm with her. There's on the hard drives. You'll see there's video as well. So there's video of the almost 4 hours, I guess.
Of what?
Well, of initially at her place of me raping her, and then Yeah, so I was running the video and then taking still pictures. So the video pretty much covers everything.
Did you use video at other places?
At Marie France's as well.
Okay. And is that video on the hard drives?
Yep.
Same type of activity?
Yep. Well, I was pretty sure that I wasn't going to let her leave. The idea of striking her on the head was developed in the afternoon.
And what was that strike supposed to accomplish in your mind? What was the intent of doing that?
Well, I thought I would be able to knock her out, and then I was going to strangle her.
Okay. So when you actually do strike her, what's the result?
Her skull gave way a little bit. Felt like, and there was a lot of blood, so I think that's what happened. She was immediately unconscious, and then I strangled her.
So what did you do after that?
I bound her up to a sort of fetal position. And cleaned up the floor.
No, you say you bound her up. Are you referring to the duct tape that you talked about earlier?
Yeah.
Okay. So then what did you do?
I put her in the garage. It was very cold. And then I went into the base.
Okay. Why'd you go to the base?
Pardon me?
Why'd you go to the base?
Because I was flying early the next morning.
Okay. So what time did you leave to go to the base?
Well, I told you about between 9 and 10 or so.
On the Friday night?
Yeah.
Okay. So you fly, and
Then I drove home to Ottawa.
so which night would you...
Saturday night.
So you land, and what time are you landing?
6:30.
Okay.
Saturday night.
Did you go by the house in Tweed on your way to Ottawa? Or?
No.
So you drove straight home to
Yeah.
Ottawa? What time did you get there at? Do you remember?
Sometime before midnight. I can't quite remember, but I think I went into the office first, did some work. So I think I got home to Ottawa just before midnight, something like that. I think. Not sure. I slept for a little bit at the Tim Hortons in Brockville. So it might be later. I honestly can't remember when I got to Ottawa, but
Okay.
yeah, midnight-ish, Saturday.
Mm-hmm. So you get home, you're in Ottawa, what do? You go to bed or
Yeah.
stay up? Okay. So then what do you do the next day?
Well, my wife and I did some stuff. I can't remember what was going on that day. You know, putting together the new house. And I headed back to Tweed that night.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Sorry. No, I did. I had Monday off. That's right. I had Monday off, and then I was visiting one of the units in Ottawa on Tuesday. So,
And how did you leave her?
I just left her tucked behind a fairly large rock.
Is that duct tape still on her?
Mm-hmm.
And what else is on her?
A couple of towels wrapped around her head, and the top and pants, she was wearing jeans.
Okay. What type of cleaning and things like that did you do? Anything else to kind of cover your tracks that you can think of?
I vacuumed the house, and I wiped the floor, washed the floor.
Okay. What about your truck? Did you do anything with that?
Just washed today because it was a mess, and vacuum.
Okay. So you go in and you're in the basement. And whereabouts in the basement are you?
By the furnace.
Okay. And what are you doing? What's your sort of plan at that point?
I was waiting for her to go to bed.
Okay. And how long did that take?
Well, she didn't, because then she came down looking for the cat.
All right. And what happens next?
Well, as I described, I subdued her. Hit her with a flashlight. Actually, wrestled her to the ground and tied her up.
So you tie her up. How did you tie her up after you subdued her? Okay. And what is she wearing at that point?
She wasn't wearing anything to start with.
So when she came down to the basement, she had no clothes on?
Mm-hmm. She had some sort of a shawl over her shoulder.
Okay.
And she immediately dropped when she saw me.
Did she say anything when she saw you?
She did. She called out, "You bastard."
Okay. And then what happened?
Then I subdued her as I described.
By hitting her with that red flashlight?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Although they were more glancing blows. Cut her skin, but weren't doing much else.
Okay. And then what happened after that?
Then I took her upstairs.
Did she go upstairs under her own power, or did you carry her?
No, she passed out on the stairs, and then I carried her up
So you carried her up to where?
to her bedroom, put her on the bed.
Okay. And then what happened? And then what happens next?
Well, as I described, I suffocated her using duct tape.
Okay. Why did you decide to do that?
Well, again, because of the pictures. As I described to you, it would have... it was going to be a pretty straight line back to Tweed.
So before the suffocation, obviously, how long do you think you were with her from the point... Well, how long do you think you were in that house from the point you went in that window to the point you left?
Probably 4 hours.
Okay. So, correct me if I'm wrong, did you say you got there at 11? Or around 11?
I think that's right.
Okay. So, you left around 3 in the morning? Anything else?
No.
All right. Did Did you do anything else to try and cover your tracks with Marie France?
Well, I had turned off my BlackBerry before I left Trenton. Other than that, no.
Do you remember trying to destroy any kind of evidence there, or anything you thought may have produced evidence or anything?
Well, I took her sheets off the bed and ran them through the laundry.
Okay. Like the laundry where?
In her house.
Okay. So Marie France, when did it first occur to you to go to her house?
Well, probably in October. October, November, not quite sure, but somewhere in that time frame.
And do you remember why you thought to do that?
Well, she had said she lived alone when the one time I met her.
Mm-hmm. Just trying to understand, like, why her versus the dozens of other women you probably come across on a daily basis.
I don't know. I went out there when she wasn't home just to see where she lived. And
When did you do that?
a couple of nights before.
How did you know her address?
I was on the roll for the basement.
Okay. So when you go out there a couple of nights before, do you remember what night that was? When you were there first time?
I don't, but it was within 2 or 3 nights, I think.
Okay.
Probably, well, no more than 4 anyway, something like that.
And did you actually go into her house on that occasion, or did you? Okay. So what happened that night? How'd you get into her house?
This window in the side of the basement, side window.
Okay. And just to back step a bit, how did you get to her house that first night you went there?
I drove.
What did you drive?
I think I drove my truck.
Okay.
Pathfinder.
Do you remember where you parked it?
Yep, I parked it. There's a bit of a division in the residential areas there. I parked it on another side, 600-700 meters away.
Okay. So not on her street, on a different street? Do you remember what street you parked on?
No, but it's actually might be the same street, but there's an interruption in the street where there's a construction zone, so there's a pathway in between. So I think it's probably the same street.
Okay. So you go to her house, and when you went there that night, did you know that she was away?
I'm not sure if I knew entirely, but I think I thought she was away.
Okay. Is that based on her schedule, or how would you know that?
Well, because I fly with a squadron, I have access to the schedule, and
Okay.
it's a slightly different schedule she has, but that's probably how I know.
You don't know for sure?
I think that's probably how I know.
Okay. So you go to her house.
Mhm.
And what do you do that night, the first night?
I looked around and make sure that she was living there alone.
And I'm sorry, did you say, I can't remember if you said, how did you get in?
Same way. Back, side basement window.
Side basement window? Okay. So you go in and you're in her house, figuring out she lives alone, and do you do anything that night?
Yeah, I was playing with her underwear. No, I didn't touch her stuff.
What do you mean you didn't touch her stuff? I mean, you touched her underwear, but...
Yeah. But nothing else.
Okay. Did you take any of the underwear with you that night?
Yeah, a few pieces.
So which day did you go to her house when she was there?
Well, the night before I went to Ottawa, so I think that was Monday night.
All right. So let's walk through that. What time do you think you got there?
About 11 or so, probably. 10:30, 11.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was on the phone in her room. I could hear that from the backyard. I got in through the side window.
The same basement window?
Mm-hmm.
How could you hear from the backyard? What was...
Just hear her on the phone. From beside the house. Could hear her through the walls that she was on the phone.
Okay. Any idea who she was talking to or what she was talking about?
No, couldn't hear that well.
Okay. So you go in through the basement window. And what are you wearing when this is happening?
A sweatshirt and Dockers, I guess. And the 2 pieces on my head.
Okay. And where are those 2 pieces now? Pieces that you wore on the head?
They're probably in my bag, in my luggage bag in Edison in the bedroom.
What does your luggage bag look like?
It's a blue duffel bag type thing. It's right beside the bed.
Okay. Is it the only blue duffel bag in your bedroom?
Mm-hmm.
And these pieces, what do they look like again?
It's a blue headband.
Okay.
Standard blue, winter headband. And black skull cap type thing.
Okay. Any insignias or anything on them?
Yeah, there are, but I don't know what they are. The blue headband has something
All right. Okay, let's talk about seeing as we're going backwards in time here, why don't we talk about the second incident in Tweed? With Laurie Massacati. One that's at 76 Cozy Cove. How did you decide on her?
I knew she lived alone. That's it.
And how did you know that?
She lived 3 doors down and didn't know her, but I knew she was pretty lone. She had a boyfriend and hadn't been around. Looked in the window and she was alone.
So she had a boyfriend, but he wasn't too frequent? Okay.
Well, she told me that they were fighting, so that's why he hadn't been there.
Okay. So, did you look in her house before the night that this incident happened, or when did you do that?
I had been in within the week, probably a couple of nights earlier.
What did you do that night?
I looked around to see if there are any permanent signs of her boyfriend, I guess. Took one or two pieces of her underwear. That's all.
Okay. So the night you go there, when the incident happens, do you remember what time that was?
It was pretty late. I probably got into the house around midnight. She was asleep on the couch. Well, I didn't know that, but I knew she was in there.
And how'd you get in, sorry?
Window in the back of the house.
So you take pictures of her, and how do you end up leaving? Like you,
I just told her to, I don't know, count or wait for a number of minutes before she called the police.
okay. So on the 16th of September, when you went in that night, was that the first time you've been in her house?
Yep.
Okay. And why her?
Just because I'd seen her and she was cute. That's it.
Okay. So there was no, you didn't go into her house before that night?
No.
All right. So you go in, and how'd you get into her house?
Side window. The was not locked. Cut the screen, slid the window, crawled in.
Okay. And what you're wearing?
Same. Sweatshirt, dark pants.
And the same hat and...
Mhm.
Okay. And where do you find...
In bed, asleep.
Okay. And what do you do?
Stood over her for a while and I hit her on the left side of her head just with my hand. Just woke her up. We struggled. You know, just lay on her. And very much like I described a little bit ago, took off her, pulled her top down, and took off her pants, took some pictures, left.
Do you remember her saying anything to you?
Yes.
What did she say to you?
All kinds of things. You know, she had a young baby just next door, the other room, 8 months or so. Was obviously concerned about the baby. Concerned for herself. I assured her I was not going to hurt her. Physically, anyway.
Okay. Any underwear taken from or Lori?
Yep, both.
And where would they be located?
In tweed.
Okay. Well, I guess I just have a couple of questions for you. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be more questions, but I guess what's on my mind right now, Russ, is what made you decide to tell me this tonight?
Mostly
to make my wife's life easier.
Is what you've told me tonight the truth?
Yeah.
How do you feel about what you've done? Like what?
Disappointed.
Russell Williams never lost control. He never raised his voice. And even at the end there was no remorse, only disappointment. In 2010 he pleaded guilty to multiple charges, including first-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole for 25 years.